Albany and Sunnyside, son. Oh, sorry.
I'm with an old friend of mine, an old roommate from college, the show pony himself.
How's it going, Natural Statesman?
Mr. Loran McDonald. And today, Lo is going to show us around his block. You recently, late 2008, bought a home here?
Yeah, I bought a condo in late 2008. This is the Albany Park area of the city. If you look around, it's kind of like a suburb, just kind of hidden off of the main city. About a block that way is Ravenswood Manor. There you can find Governor, or our disgraced Governor Blagojevich, kind of jogging and proclaiming his innocence.
Does he just run around saying, "I'm innocent" the whole time?
It's crazy because he's just like, the truth's gonna come out. And like, he'll like stop cars and like talk to them and be like, good job. And it's like, truth's gonna come out. I'm clean. I'm innocent. And so, yeah. But outside of that, like, it's just kind of, it's weird. It's because I guess it used to be like a pretty Eastern European dominant. Mm-hmm. And if you go to Lawrence, which is about one major city block that way, it's primarily Korean.
Right.
If you go to Kedzie, which is about 2 blocks that way, it's primarily kind of Arab and Lebanese. And then there's also Hispanic around here too. So it's kind of like a combination of all these different cultures, a melting pot, if you will.
Yeah. Looking around, you live in what? Is this a 6-flat here?
Yeah, it's a 6-flat building. It was rehabbed in 2001. That one was rehabbed too. A lot of these buildings have been rehabbed in this whole Albany Park, kind of Irving Park neighborhood. And it seems like it's a nice place for, I think, people buying their first place to move to. A lot of people, like, with maybe one kid, just kind of starting a family, live out here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, you'll see, like, when we started out, like, it was just kind of, it looks more like a neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But, like, the closer you get to Montrose, it kind of looks like the city. So, like, if you're going from Montrose, I don't think you'd have any idea what this would look like here. Just going either on Montrose or Kedzie. But if you turn in, it's kind of fascinating to see just how, like, just removed, there's like not much noise, and it's a quiet, nice neighborhood to live.
When you were narrowing down all the different homes that you were looking at back in 08, what were some of the other finalists that you were looking at, and why did this one end up winning out?
I was looking at a couple places on Montrose and a couple by Addison and Albany. The main thing was this wasn't on a major street. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, like, a lot of these places, they basically look pretty similar. Some of them have like a fireplace and in a really inopportune spot, and their floor plans are just kind of sketchy. The second bedroom's pretty small and there's no closet space. And so, like, that was kind of one of the main things I looked for, between that and access to public transportation. Because my brother, who was living with me, he worked downtown, and mm-hmm. so he could get to the train to get to work. And in terms of resale, it's it's a good thing to sell. Not everyone has a car. And so, I mean, those are two of the main things. And, like, the open floor plan was really what sold me on my place.
Did you actually start looking before things kind of started to hit the fan a little bit? Or what kind of prompted you to decide to go ahead and buy instead of continue to rent?
Well, my roommate was moving out of my old place. And so I had to decide whether I was just going to get a 1-bedroom condo or a 1-bedroom apartment or whatever. Just to rent for a year or so, and then things did well with my job, and I just realized for what I could pay for rent, I could just pay as a mortgage.
Where do you work right now?
For Potash Corp up in Northbrook. It's a chemical fertilizer company.
What's it like making that commute?
That's another reason why I chose this place. It's pretty easy. It takes me about 10-15 minutes to get to the highway from here, just straight down Montrose. And then I can get on past the junction, and I work off of the Edens up there. So it's pretty easy to get to the highway and get off the highway to get to work. It's about a 40-minute commute there, depending on what's going on. Whether you have a Cubs night game or whatever, which is affects the whole city. It can take an hour to get home. There's a really good Colombian place called Brasa Roja up the way. If you go on Kedzie, there's a bunch of Lebanese restaurants, so you can get your shawarmas or falafel or whatever you're into. But there's a place called Semiramis that has like pretty good rotisserie chicken as well. And then I don't eat much Korean food, but if you go up to Lawrence, there's a bunch of access to that. There's not that many bars, so normally I just take the train to either get to Lincoln Square. Oh, if it's nice out, I can walk to Lincoln Square, mm-hmm. or get to North Center, Roscoe, or wherever I want to hang out. But a bar just opened up on the corner, which is pretty nice. It's kind of the one thing missing here, because it's funny. It seems like a lot, I guess, like you know, all the people that have lived there for a while say like all the yuppies are moving in, and you kind of, you know, I think a bar would benefit from being here.
Yeah. So this was your first experience buying a home. What was the hardest part or the biggest learning curve to overcome when you were doing this?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, the best thing, like, I looked at maybe 15 places at first, then took my mom and showed her my top 3, and she pointed out problems with each and every one of them, whether it's not enough closet space, a lot of them were on major streets, which is tough for resale, or you know, there's no closets, which is a huge one.
You got Peacock Liquors. That's convenient, right?
Yeah. The other place up the corner is better. This one, like the record skips whenever you go in. You know, like they have like really good beers. Like I can get Fin de Man in my bodega. Yeah. I mean some other issues like with me personally, like after I like, you know, bought or like, you know, committed to the place, get my earnest money. Where like I had to travel a lot for work, so I was out of town and missed the inspection, which would have been key because like my floors are kind of uneven. There's like an inch incline, and I was getting like stuff installed in my house, and the guy's making fun of me. He's like, yeah, see, this is straight, but the floor is uneven. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. I know it's uneven. I live with this. And if you know, but you know, it's a minor thing that, you know, it seems like you have to give up something in order to get what you actually want. And you know, some people it's, you know, size of a second bedroom or, you know, maybe an extra bathroom. And like if my biggest problem is that my floors are uneven, you know, I'm pretty fortunate.
Don't spill your marbles.
That's how I found out. I had like a ball on the floor and just rolled to the wall.
And also you were mentioning that you made the, you can't really call it a mistake because you didn't know, but had you waited just a little while longer, you would have qualified for the first-time buyer.
Yeah, I missed the first-time buyer's, I guess, tax or credit, or I just call it the free $8,000 by about a month. And so that was kind of rough. Every time I see a commercial for it, I just kind of bitterly, you know, just kind of shake my fist to the sky. If you look here, this is probably what my old building looked like before they renovated it. You know, it's probably shuttered, and I'm sure they'll probably do a shoddy job on the floors, whoever wants to buy it. I think that's kind of how it was with all these buildings here. Like, most of them are about 100 years old or so. Mm-hmm. Actually, that's another thing that kind of sold me on this place is that it's brick, so I figured it'd be, and it had new windows, so I figured it'd insulate well, and my utility costs would be lower. Mm-hmm. But like with brick, you know, you feel like it's more like a more solid just a more solid home.
Yeah. Is it easy to park on the street? Do you need a permit?
No, you don't need a permit. It's funny, on that side you do, on this side you don't. The only time it's tough to park is probably after 9 or so, but even then, like, you can just park on Montrose, mm-hmm. and it's after the automatic meters are there, so you know, if you have to go to work at a normal time, it's not a big deal.
As long as it doesn't have 2 inches of snow on it, I guess you're fine, right?
Yeah, or I mean, you could park like maybe 3 blocks away. Like, I think Richmond, which is about 3 blocks down, I can find parking if I luck out of anything. So there's parking available. It's not as bad as like Rogers Park or somewhere like that, right, where I used to live. And that's, if you don't find a spot by 9, you got to go home.
Yeah. You had mentioned off camera that crime normally isn't an issue.
Yeah, crime normally is an issue, but it kind of picked up about 2 weeks ago. There was a random like gang retaliation shooting. I guess there was a CAPS meeting on Wednesday, and it was based on a rival killing. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's, you know, random acts of violence. It all seems like pretty much isolated incidents. That's the first shooting that I've seen or heard from. And as you know, my neighbor was saying, she lived there for 8 years, and that's the first type of shooting that happened here. Mm-hmm. And I mean, normally in Chicago, especially, got to watch out in the summer, just because that's kind of when shootings are on the rise. But I don't, you know, it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. You don't really see people on the corner.
Are there any parts of the neighborhood that you would stick away from after dark? How far do you have to go?
I'd say on the other side of Kedzie. Just, I mean, around here, it's fine, and even maybe a block off of Kedzie, it's not that bad. It's kind of, this area is kind of it's getting gentrified, and I think a lot of that has to do with